I don't know, but they had a lot of class. You could say they were a higher caliber.